Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you dared to stand up to a narcissist? Have you been blindsided by their cunning and manipulative arsenal of shocking retaliation tactics? What happens when you challenge their fragile ego? How do they strike back, leaving you questioning your own sanity? Brace yourself, because in this video, we are about to expose the chilling truth behind how narcissists retaliate when faced with discipline. These are real stories and warning of narcissistic abuse for teachers, parents, coaches, employers, and everyone else for that matter. Let's dive right in, shall we? Brian worked as a first-year high school teacher in a big city on the East Coast and had to deal with different types of students on a daily basis. He observed vicious ways some narcissistic students would lash out at the school teachers who tried to discipline their unruly behaviors. His fellow teachers often used him as a sounding board to vent about what they had to deal with. Heck, he himself disciplined such students who tried to take over his classroom using unconventional disciplinary measures. He became an anomaly for disciplining the unruly and violently disturbed students. And here are just some things the teachers have to deal with on a daily basis. Narcissistic students make up false allegations against the teachers. If you are a teacher that tries to instill some type of discipline in the class so you can actually teach, they will accuse you of calling them names, and they will get a group of students to lie for them to support their lie. They will ignite the fire, not literally, but you know what I mean. Narcissistic students are very disruptive. They don't let other students learn by taking over the class. Brian witnessed firsthand that in a classroom sometimes you might have 10 minutes of discipline and 40 minutes of teaching if you're lucky. Some classes had 25 minutes of discipline and 25 minutes of teaching. And during the first class, some teachers just give up and let the students sleep in class or let them do whatever they want the whole 50 minutes. One teacher told Brian that is exactly what she did every first class of the day, simply because she couldn't control the classroom. She chose to have a peaceful start of the morning every day by letting them sleep instead of fighting and ending up having a nervous breakdown. When teachers tried to discipline the students, or like this particular teacher tried to wake them up so she could teach, the unruly students can steal your personal belongings like teacher's keys, stapler, things off the teacher's desk, steal and eat their lunch. They would do anything to disable the teacher's function of the day. Girls use their phony crocodile tears to manipulate the emotions of higher authorities. When you try to discipline a narcissistic girl in a classroom, she will go to her father or boyfriend and will make up a lie that you got in her face. When narcissistic girls cry, they're very believable. You will see the girls whispering to the boys right in front of you. The boys will try to stare you down to intimidate you. If you're trying to discipline boys, they use different tactics to strike back at you. Boys will try to intimidate you, they will confront you or threaten you. They will try to trap you in the area where there are no witnesses. They will threaten you with physical harm. They start using nonverbals, grouping up to intimidate you. They don't want you correcting them. They will run psyops against you, leave notes on your car, or straight up ask you what you're driving. They are successful 90% of the time. It is very sad. Teachers worry about their personal safety and security. I have to mention that inner city schools are always more violent than suburban schools. You as a teacher turn your back to write on the board, they'll throw an orange aiming at your head. They will throw eggs at you. Let's pause for a second and talk about food here, specifically throwing food in the cafeteria. A lot of riots in prisons and schools are triggered from food being thrown in the cafeteria. There was a girl who tried to get the attention of a boy in the cafeteria of that school, so she threw a small bottle of water a third-way field, trying to hit that boy about 30 feet away at another table. The bottle ended up hitting someone else. This can start a chain reaction because of a narcissist trying to get attention. It doesn't have to be a bottle of water. It can be a piece of fruit like a plum, a peach, or an apple. Use your imagination. Here's another one for you that happened to Brian. A girl came into the cafeteria and told her girlfriend she was going to disrupt the classroom. So she drank a bottle of orange juice, then she went into the back of the classroom, put 2 fingers in her mouth, and gagged out the entire bottle of juice all over the floors. Guess what happened? She disrupted the classroom. She tried to play it off that she was sick, but further further investigation proved that she planned the entire spectacle. A narcissistic student will throw a French fry at the teacher, will look at you and laugh at you, and you will become a laughingstock amongst the students if you don't discipline that student, and they can make you look like a jackass. They will try to embarrass you. You don't do anything the first time, the next time it will be a handful of fries with ketchup on them. It intensifies. Some female teachers run out of the classroom crying, and some male teachers scream at the top of their lungs. They will lose self-control and wind up cursing and get themselves in trouble. Narcissistic students neutralize the teachers. They are vicious. They don't think about what they're doing to someone's career, their livelihood. They simply don't care. Narcissistic students will attack your personal and professional reputation. It is their MO to exercise leverage and try to neutralize you as a teacher. They will get you to think about your career. They always redirect the energy. A narcissistic student will start trouble and then will turn it around against the teacher. And now the teacher is worried about protecting and defending himself or herself from the parents, the principal, worrying about their career and being fired. A teacher can get fired over false accusations. It is a get over the teacher game for a narcissist. It is a power struggle, and narcissists are winning. If you don't correct them, they will get away with it. It is as if the patients are running the asylum. A lot of times, instead of reaching out to the teacher first to clarify what had happened, parents go to the principal behind the teacher's back because their narcissistic child's lies are so believable. And most parents think their child is an innocent angel. Most parents are in denial. And some of the parents are afraid of their own child attacking them with false allegations and violence. Narcissistic students know that if they get challenged again by the teacher, they will get away with it. So most of the teachers are just afraid to even deal with these narcissists. One teacher once told Brian in the cafeteria, "Did you see that girl throw a banana? She does that all the time." Brian asked her if she was going to say or do anything. The teacher's response was simple: "I don't want my car keyed." If narcissistic students get suspended for doing their spiteful, vicious acts, and their parents happen to believe the teacher's story of what really happened, your car can get keyed, the tires can get slashed, or a windshield can get broken if you are that teacher. That's why teachers are afraid. If narcissistic students get disciplined, they can become passive-aggressive. They will have other people do their bad things to you. They will have their boys to beat you up. They will get your car damaged. They will jump you. It gets to the point where teachers get beaten up, stabbed, and shot. A lot of narcissistic boys in inner city high schools often bluff that they have a gun or they do have a gun. If you discipline them, they will always lash out at you in one way or another. They can get another student from another high school to beat you up. You won't even know who did it. It gets extreme. They go to other boys from other schools because they know that their school authorities have jurisdiction over their school only, and they can't identify another student from another school. Brian had a military background and he grew up in the inner city. He knew what discipline was and how to deal with narcissistic personalities. To discipline someone simply means to teach. Brian could get his classroom to be very quiet and productive. He had some students who never gave up trying to play their get-over games. Some female students would pass false rumors about him when other teachers asked them why Brian's classroom was always quiet. They would say something like, "He's threatening his classroom, that's why the students are so quiet." That was an absolute lie that resulted in a secretive investigation. When he would discipline a narcissistic girl in his classroom and a mother came to talk to him about what had happened, he was always straightforward and honest with any parent or guardian. So he explained to the mother exactly what the problem was and that her daughter's behavior is causing the problem, as she constantly tries to disrupt the class. The mother said to Brian, "She's been like that since her father left. I can't handle her. She does the same thing to me at home." The girls use this divorce situation against the mothers. When mothers try to discipline their daughters, they won't talk to the mother for days or weeks, and then the mother gives in. Girls use silent treatment on their mothers, but fathers are manipulated in a different way by narcissistic daughters. They use tears on their fathers. They make up a lie and tell their father that the male teacher got in their face. Can you imagine what goes through the father's mind when a daughter cries and sobs hysterically, crocodile tears, and tells her daddy that a big former military teacher threatened her and got in her face? The father rushes to the school hoping to protect his baby girl from this big bad wolf of a teacher, only to find out that his daughter was a big liar. That is in Brian's case, because he never hid from the parents and spoke to them eye to eye, heart to heart. But imagine what happens when these narcissistic liars convince their principal, their coach, their parent or guardian that you did what they accuse you of. Now a teacher gets investigated and questioned. Many teachers say it's not worth dealing with. They protect their career. If narcissistic students get away with their lies, they will challenge your authority again to spite you, whether you're a parent or a teacher. They have to win. They will be persistent until they win. When dealing with a narcissist, you have to think before you speak, and you have to watch every move you make. Fellow veteran teachers always ask Brian how he was able to keep his classroom quiet and have his students actively participate in the class. Brian came up with the cracked door principle. To explain it briefly, you have to immediately shut the cracked door or it will get wide open. Take out the small fire or the fire will get out of control and become an out-of-control raging fire. Essentially, if you as a teacher fail to take control of your classroom management within the first 3 days, you will be fighting to regain the classroom management for the next 9 months. And if you don't correct it within those crucial 3 days and try to instill discipline later, in the middle of the year, the students will use it against you. They will claim you're picking on them. How come it was okay for so long and now it's not? Another rule Brian had for his students, especially females, and that applies to female teachers as well. He always kept his personal space, he called it his airspace, at 1 arm length when he talked to them, so no one could claim he got in their face. And he never hugged his female students, only handshakes at the end of the year. You see, if you're a male teacher and a girl asks for a hug, she could possibly make allegations that you touched her inappropriately, even if you didn't. If someone sees you hugging a female student, by default you will be at fault, even if it was an innocent hug. So it's advisable to stay away from hugging. But it happens very often, and in this day and age, we hear all sorts of things happening between teachers and students, both males and females. Bad apples give bad fame to the good ones, unfortunately. Another personal safety mechanism for a teacher like Brian was that he never met with his female students alone. He always had a witness. He applied the same principle to meeting with the female teachers as well. Now, if narcissists don't get disciplined as juveniles, they will do whatever they want. Then they graduate, go into the society, they become our bosses. They find their way into the leadership position by powering over others. They use the same MOs that they got away with before. They are taking charge of our society, and they abuse their power and authority. What causes this vicious cycle? The answer is simple: lack of accountability during crucial years of adolescent development. Discipline starts at home. Failure of parenting, failures of teachers disciplining these students, and failure of coaches in guidance and disciplining. These failures can send students into the adult world to potentially become criminals. Approximately 90% of the teachers give in to the power struggle in fear that they would get sued and or lose their job. Now, by getting over on the teachers, the school disciplinary measures are not adhered to. It is a combination of these failures of the school system and parenting that creates narcissistic monsters. If you found value in these stories, subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Tell us what your thoughts and experiences are on this topic in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed these real stories, watch this video next. And remember, it's how you think.